What's up, guys? Probably haven't. What's up, guys? Probably haven't heard my voice in a while, unless you're following my stuff. But I'm back in action. My
Chris is back, but bam!
yeah.
This is the battle of the co-host episode.
Now we got three co-hosts on Road to Rip now.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
And
This is
no
good.
big
This
deal. No big deal or anything, Tom. Chris, this is episode numero 100.
Yeah, this is big news. So episode 100 of Road to Rip, an incredibly important milestone, and we decided to do something a little fun. We decided to bring back the man, the myth, and the legend, Christopher Walker. Since we got him live with us today, this is going to be a pretty kick-ass episode.
Rumor has it that Chris Walker was on some life journey, climbing Mount Everest, wrestling with saber-toothed tigers.
Yep.
Swimming
I climbed it twice.
twice, in same day, right?
Same day.
While wrestling the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, and riding a velociraptor. If you if you check out my fan page right now, you saw that new cover photo on my fan page.
What was that?
It was
It's
America.
me.
That's what it was.
Me with an American flag. No, the velociraptor was holding an American flag. I was riding the velociraptor with a machine gun.
That's amazing. That
Yeah.
is
I think it was art. It was art.
It was art. It's actually a really good artist who does all those images. Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to talk on this episode about the difference between winners and losers. We were having a good discussion about this before we hit record, so we can get back into that discussion. But also, I'll be coming back around on Road to Ripped more often now. You guys will have me.
right. That's right. For sure. Yeah.
I like how that was said like very tentatively, as if like seeking acceptance rather than
Just
explaining.
we have some new rules, Chris. On Mondays we're only pink.
Oh, pink. Okay.
Yeah. Thursdays is like polka dot shirts. So
What's funny is that it's Monday right now and none of us are wearing pink. So
none of us are wearing pink.
Not that you can see.
I'm wearing pink socks. Pink socks.
well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
socks.
stupid masculinity. So this is so winners and losers. What makes a winner? What makes a loser? How people succeed. And we're going to dig into the psychology of it all.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, because this is something that's super common with all three of us, because we work online. We actually get to see a lot of people, and I'm sure we've all thought about this regularly. It's like what we do is we provide people with information to get from point A to B. What's the difference between the person who takes the same information? You'll have two people take the same information, whether they're buying like a course or reading a blog post or listening to a podcast like this one. They'll take the same information to get, with the intention, the same intention, also where they're like, I intend to get to point B, but somehow these two people are different. Like one of them doesn't get there and the other one does. And it's interesting because I'm sure we can all agree is like because we all do consulting as well, like say you're on the phone with somebody for consulting or over email, I can always tell within 5 minutes whether that person will achieve what they're going to achieve or not, which is interesting. So I want to talk about this because it could probably help a lot of people, because a lot of people probably don't notice that, whatever camp they're in, they just kind of are in one of those groups.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and so we can even apply it to fitness too. I mean, just with Greg in the Kinobody line selling, let's say, so the Warrior Shredding program is what we were talking about before. I mean, you'll have two people that each buy, one of your courses. Let's say it's the Warrior Shredding program, and one of them, I mean, they have the same exact PDF guide, the same tools. They probably have a gym with very similar setups. So they both have the same tools and resources, but one of them will go on to follow the program, get the results, become a case study, a testimonial. You see those people in the sales letter right now. And the other one will fail with it. They won't get anywhere. They probably won't, they probably won't undergo any transformation at all, or very minimal one, if anything. So there's definitely a difference in those two people, and we're going to try to flesh out what changes or what psychologically creates a difference between those two people, those two camps.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And you know what? I mostly hear from the people that succeed, because those that succeed, that they're more likely to email me and be like, "Hey, check out my transformation," or tell me how stuff has changed their life. And I just got one email today that came in, and the guy was like, he just emailed me. He's like, "Greg, thank you so much for starting Kinobody. You've changed my life." And then that's it. I'm like, "Can you expand? I want to like hear more about what happened." Like, tell
Yeah.
me how like what has been working for you.
Why?
Give me some
Why?
context. But then, but then, yeah, I mean, also that you get like also an experience of like the struggle that people have if they email you and like, look, I'm just not seeing results, and then you kind of flesh through that and you see what's going on. And that's always very interesting.
Yeah, so what do you guys think it is? I was writing about this yesterday and I thought it boiled down to two things. But really one thing, I guess. One with a sub element. We'll see if maybe I might have missed something though, like whatever you guys think. So what I think it is basically it's just choice. So um, the difference between A and B, or between person one and person two, is the one who's the winner literally just chooses that to win before they even begin. They're like basically, and that's where the sub element comes in, where they embrace the hard work that's involved to get to point B. Because there's
Hmm.
always hard work involved to get to point B, whether you're on a fitness program, building a business, or whatever you're doing. You can say that you want to get there and start at the same point as the other person, but if you don't embrace the hard work, you'll never get there. Both people also know that it's hard work, usually, to get to point B, but the winner is always going to just embrace it and make that choice from the get-go. They're like, I already know I'm going to be there. It might be in 5 years, it might be in 5 months, but I'm going to be there.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to arm myself with whatever info, and that's where the consulting stuff comes into play, like where I can tell with when I consult with people is like, this person's not calling me, they're not paying me to get on a phone call with them to blow sunshine up their ass, to tell them, certain things that like reassure them about certain things. It's more like, hey man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna achieve this, and I know you've done this in the past, so I'm calling you to help arm me to like get there faster, basically,
Hmm.
or to make a better decision about X, Y, and Z rather than trying to fail on my own. And then that's where like what we do comes into play. Greg, you have like these amazing Kinobody programs where you just literally spell out exactly what they need to do, and that's kind of like, you could say I'm gonna get from point A to B, like point A being fat and point B being shredded, um, and it's going to take me 5 years of self-experimentation. Or you can say I'm going to get from point A to B, and I'm going to get a program and literally just follow it and not second guess everything, and actually just follow to the point of day in day out succeeding with it, and then you'll get there in 6 months,
Yeah,
instead of 5 years.
yeah, you spelled out a huge issue. That is one reason why some people will not succeed, is because, as you mentioned, they won't second guess it, and that's something that with most people that fail, that's the number one problem in fitness that I see, is that they are just reading too much stuff. They're getting all convoluted in their head. They're like, well, this person's saying this, and this person's saying this, and this person's saying this, and they end up just kind of backtracking. They spend their days on the forum arguing about stuff. They put in all this time and energy, kind of like just mentally juggling over all this information. And it's like all you have to do is like, okay, just stick to something. Stick to something long enough to see if it works for you. Like literally put the blinders on, like give it like a good hard month, and if the results are there, then keep going, keep going, keep going. And then when the results stop, then try and figure out what happened. And I explain like what happened, like why people will plateau in strength, muscle gain, and fat loss, and how to adjust things. But if you don't give anything pure, like undivided effort, then you're gonna be doing a little bit of this, and then you're not gonna give enough time, so you're gonna like try this, and you start like putting all these ingredients into a soup, and it's just gonna end up like tasting like crap. It's like I'm gonna put a little bit of continental, a little Mediterranean, a little bit Japanese, and it's like this is awful. This is
Yeah,
disgusting.
that's a good analogy. I've never heard that analogy.
I just,
Yeah, it makes sense though.
Yeah, I like it
Look
because
at it.
you could have like Thai and Mexican.
some little bit of CrossFit, a little P90X, a little paleo, a little,
A little
Pilates, like whatever it is.
vegetarian and
It's just too much.
yep. Yeah, I mean most things are
Mm.
gonna if like weight loss is someone's goal, most things are gonna get them at least some results, but some are better than others, especially
Yeah.
in terms of physique development.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean,
When I think it comes back to like, so not trusting in the process first of all, and probably there's so like your Kinobody programs, for example. I mean they've been proven countless times over. I mean Chris, your programs have been proven countless times over. So it's really just about trusting in the process and sticking to it long enough to see results. And also you have to suspend belief, for a while at least, because fitness is one of those things where I mean you're not gonna see results looking at yourself every day in the mirror, so you have to really suspend any kind of negative feedback for the first, I would say, like 3 to 4 weeks at the least, like knowing full well that what you do today you're not going to see a result until 30 days from now. And if you go into it with that mentality, then you're not going to be like constantly spot checking for progress and getting disappointed because you don't see all those micro changes that add up over the course of 30 days.
right. And I like it when people ask questions, and there's a reason why I design my programs a certain way. Like I explain exactly why we're doing this. Because I want anyone reading it to actually truly understand it. Because if they understand it, they're gonna know why it works, and then they're gonna be more motivated to stick with it. But there's a certain point between asking important, good questions so you know why something works, and then asking a ton of questions that have no relevance.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get this with an odd client, an odd customer. They're like, Gregory, I'm doing your warrior shredding program, and should I go with white rice or brown rice, or how many grams of sugar in a sweet potato? I'm worried about the
that one.
sugar in the sweet potato.
Yeah.
The sweet potato one.
Yeah.
How much glucose is in a sweet potato? Who cares?
I explain it's important to hit those calories and macros, and then if that's dialed in, the fat loss will ensue. You're getting stronger, but then they want to ask a million other questions under the surface, and should I go with the lower glycemic, higher glycemic? And I'll kind of explain that, but there's a certain point where it's this question is not important to getting to your goal. Just kind of just stick to the program. Your mind is going to try and ask all these questions. It's almost a form of procrastination, a form of you're masquerading as trying to get great results, but really you're just kind of slowing yourself down. You haven't fully put your trust in the program, you haven't fully committed, and so you're gonna keep looking for reasons why this won't work. Because sometimes, I don't know, why do you think people do that, Chris and Tom?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times it's easy to get into the habit of pushing something off, convincing yourself that you need to know more before you can actually start doing something, and actually doing it and for longer than a couple days. Then because I've been there too. I've been there in the position with certain things where I'm a bit afraid to start it, especially if it signifies a significant life change. And that fear, I guess, is what drives me to be oh, I need to do a little more research about whatever before I start it. But then the distinction between me and a lot of people who never ever do anything, because I do a lot of things, is just that I always give myself a deadline where I'm literally, I'm gonna spend. Okay, I feel at this point I have a bit of fear about this, so I'm gonna spend a day or 2 days researching a bit more. But after that, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm just gonna start. I'll figure out. I'll learn, and by failing, if it needs to happen in that way, but I'll just do it.
And that's a really good point, because Chris, you've gotten emails from people being hey, I really like your stuff and what you're doing. I want to do something similar. I want to start maybe a blog or maybe a fitness business. And then you have one person that literally, and this happens to me, where there's two different types of people, the winners and losers. And so the losers will literally, they won't take action. They won't pull the trigger. they're not ready to start. They're waiting. They're procrastinating. They're like, well, I don't want to start my business till I have this and this and this, and I don't want to really coach people till I'm 6% body fat. And they're looking for, like, literally, they're trying to wait for the perfect moment that just does not exist. And so they're never going to start it. And they're probably also listening to other people, and those people are like, oh, no, you shouldn't do that, like, it won't work. And so they don't have the confidence in themselves, and they're just kind of waiting for that perfect moment, whereas someone else that is like a true winner, they'll just start, even if it's like, even if they're not perfect, even if they might suck at first, at least they'll start, because that's how you learn. And that's like why I like that saying, ready, fire, aim. It's like just pull the trigger, and if you screw up, then, like, it's like you're shooting a gun, and if you're waiting to try and find that target, and you have no reference point. Or if you bow and arrow, be more accurate, because bow and arrow, you don't really know where it's going to go. And so if you just shoot, and then you kind of dial back in and then shoot or whatever. But you just gotta, like, pull the trigger,
Well, and that's the thing too with basically, like, the two topics we've been talking about. So, like, fitness as well as online business or marketing, that sort of stuff, like building a business. Both of them aren't really high stakes. It's not like I can understand when people would be like, oh yeah, ready, fire, aim isn't a good motto for, okay, let's say you just
signing a car or an aircraft.
Yeah, like you're spending, okay, yeah, like going to buy a $50,000 car that you do no research on it, and you actually buy it and you don't lease it, or like something dumb like that.
I mean, like building an airplane.
Yeah, building an airplane. These are some high stakes things, Or starting a startup company and, like, raising $1 million from your family, and without doing any research. That's stupid, So that's a period. That's like where. What?
You see that in Shark Tank, where literally someone will, like, spend $1 million building this product, and then, like, one of the people on Shark Tank will be like, well, actually, we don't really need this product, actually, because you can just do this.
Yeah, because they did no research, but they, like, wasted all their family's money.
Yeah. I mean, there's actually, like, a close friend of ours. It's the girl, it's her husband, and he's developing stuff right now, but there's not a need in the market for what he's developing, and, like, I think he sold his car to get the funds to do this, and so he's developing it. It's like he hired a top level team of developers to do it, and he's spending all this time and money and energy into creating this app, and there's really not a need for it. And so my first question was,
is it like a Facebook for dogs or something?
For cats. It's bad. And but I feel so bad because, like, I mean, just
that's the Facebook for cats? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Shit.
No, I'm kidding. It's totally not. But there's wait, please don't tell me there's a Facebook for cats.
I was like, this guy.
That might actually take off because cat owners are a different kind of breed.
Yeah, they would pretend to be their cat.
And go on, like, blind dates and everything. It'd probably be weird, but I could see it taking off.
Yeah.
And if you are a cat owner, like, no disrespect, okay?
I'm sure there's a lot of cool cat lovers out there,
As long as you have more than 3 cats or 2 cats, then it gets good.
Right. So that's treading murky waters. But yeah, so I mean, like, so he just, like, and he's like in perpetual build phase. Mm-hmm. So, like, things are never like progressing, but it's always, like, on the verge of coming out, and I just feel bad because, like, he's done no research beforehand. So it's like he's creating a solution that he's going to charge money for that there's already, like, tons of solutions to do for free. So it's just that ready, fire, aim is not good, by the way. But
yeah, that's not.
When it comes to fitness,
that's an example of the not good. Yeah, like fitness, online business where the startup costs are cheap, like hosting and a website. Maybe $100.
Like, how hard is it to, like, hit record and just record a video and put it on YouTube? It's not that hard. Like,
it's free. Right. And now with Google Plus, like, what we're doing right now, totally free, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think, Tom, you brought up a really good point, is that, sometimes people get so absorbed in one thing, they're not able to let it go. So if they're trying some diet or workout, and, maybe it's CrossFit or paleo, it doesn't matter, it could be anything, and literally it's not working for them, they're not getting the results they want, but they can't give up. Like, this should be working. This is what everyone else is doing. This person got great results. Why is this not working? And literally, they will go for years and years and years trying to make something that's not working work. And they're not to, like, literally be like, okay, I'm just gonna empty my mind. Let's try something different. Let's see why is this not working? They don't really ask it. ask the right questions to ask.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea though too. Is like, what's wrong with the never fail or the never quit mentality? I think there's a lot wrong with that. I've seen a lot of people waste a ton of money and years of their lives because of I never quit, you know. But that's based on the assumption that they made the right choice in the first place, which if they're in that scenario, they didn't, you know. Like they picked a fitness program that did not work. That's just not good for them.
Or they decided to make Facebook for cats.
They made a Facebook for cats, and it's, you know, they're $1 million deep in spending on it, but they're not quitting. You know, it's like there's a certain time you should quit, and you should go find something better because you made the wrong decision in the first place.
And it's almost harder. It's harder to quit in that case when you've invested so much into it, like your entire lively blood, like tons of money. If it's a fitness thing, you know, just made so much time and sacrifice. It's like it's hard to let that go. That's a huge part of you. And if you let that go, it just means that you wasted all this time and money.
Well, and what you talk about a lot with identity stuff.
Right.
A lot of people will put their identity in CrossFit, or they'll put it in paleo, or they'll put it in being a vegan, or whatever, and then it's really hard to break that habit and get out of something that's not really working for you.
Right, because if they're like, yeah, I'm a vegan. I'm like, and actually, interestingly enough, Hitler was a vegan, and he would like look at people in a condescending way, being like, you're eating like dead animal flesh. Yeah. But that's just a side tangent. There's nothing wrong with being a vegan. Whatever.
You know, I saw a funny game on Tumblr the other day. It was called like Spot a Vegan, and they play it like how fast you can spot a vegan. So they'll like post something against vegans, and then like however quick you get a comment from a vegan on it is like that's the game. It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
One guy got a comment in like seconds. I don't know. It was just funny. You had to be there.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome.
And like kind of, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I think, but on the other side though, so you have that camp of people, but I think the polar opposite to that would be, I attribute it a lot to the media, but there's people that jump ship that they think that even though they haven't given what they're currently doing enough time to get results, they see something and they perceive it as being better than what they're doing because it promises like a quicker, faster, easier solution. So they drop what they're doing to do that, which is perpetuating the cycle of not getting results. And so it's just a hamster wheel with people.
That's perfect. Like there's the two sides, yeah. And that's the program hoppers. We'll do a program for 1 week before they even have a chance to see how much they can increase, and they'll change this one, and this one, and this one. Whatever they're doing now is not enough. It's always something else that's going to get them better results. And if you keep changing, you just never see any good, solid gains. And so, that sample, so you gotta stick with it long enough to see some results. But if you're a year, 2 years deep, and you're just running in circles, something has got to change.
So on that note, can you guys do you guys want to brainstorm some ways that people can stick to the program or not necessarily stick to the program, so we can apply this to more than just fitness, but just brainstorm ideas that people can use to help succeed in what they do and commit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess like one like huge difference you see between the winners and the losers is that the winners take full and complete responsibility for what's happening. And so they truly believe that if something doesn't go their way, like they could have done something else. They look for like possibilities, what could I have done in order to sidestep that? And even when it's like literally you could easily point the finger at someone else or something else, they won't. Because when you point that finger, now you have no more power. Now, you're just this, now you're just like literally proving whatever happens around you. And so like literally winners just will take responsibility, and that's what causes them to improve each time, because every time something doesn't go their way, they're like, okay, what could I have done better? And the losers literally will just kind of point the finger, is this is why I couldn't succeed, this isn't fair, I don't get treated fair. And so they end up almost creating an identity about how the world is out to get them, how they're hard done by, how nothing goes their way, and it's because they won't take any responsibility for themselves. And when you realize what's going on, like when you make these connections and you see what's happening, all of a sudden, like now you're like, holy shit, that person that I was really feeling sorry for, who just like the world just never went his way, he was actually creating that. And that person who I just said, oh, he was fucking lucky. He's so lucky. Look at how he succeeded. He was creating that. And so then you realize, holy shit, I can get what I want. I need to stop freaking victimizing myself. I need to realize that I can, that the buck stops at me and only me. And if I'm going to succeed, it's completely on me. It's not because I'm lucky. It's not because of this and that. And sure, there's things that can help you, and there's things that can hurt you, but it all balances out. And if your mind is in the wrong place, looking for reasons why you're going to fail, looking for reasons why you did fail, that's what's going to happen.
Boom. Nail on the head.
Bam.
That was an epic
deep.
monologue right there. That was perfect.
I just have very distinctive examples in my life of people close to me. One literally was the textbook, just literally nothing was out of reach. He could get whatever he wanted. Just succeed against all, when everything was against him, succeed. And the other one, 100% opposite. And so I have like a clear vision of these two people. I'm not going to put any names out, but yeah.
Yeah, that's actually nail on the head too with Test Shock, with my new testosterone program. On the sales video, I have Victim Vinny and Badass Brad, and it's literally that exact same paradigm where I talk about Victim Vinny and Badass Brad. They may even start in the same place. But Badass Brad, he's different. They get the same information, but somehow Badass Brad turns into Badass Brad, and not Victim Vinny. So
that's cool. I
like
Badass
that.
Brad, Victim Vinny.
So
Like Negative Nancy, Victim Vinny. That's a new.
Victim Vinny. Yeah, I was trying to think of like what other V names. There aren't that many guys' names that start with V.
Victim Victor.
There's Val, but
That's kind of a girl name too.
I like Victim Vinny better though.
Victor.
It's got a ring.
Got a good ring to it.
But yeah, I was like Van. Van's a good name, but it's kind of uncommon.
Yeah. So now I guess what Tom was saying, like let's kind of outline some ways where if you are a Victim Vinny or if you're in the middle there, how do you become a Badass Brad? How do you kind of make that shift into becoming a winner? And by winner, we just mean like the type of person that's going to succeed. Not that you don't have to like have everything in your life to be a winner. It's like literally the person that literally just goes after what they want and they get it and they succeed and they hit their goals.
Yeah. Well, like what I said in the beginning in terms of like the Badass Brad is going to make that choice to be the Badass Brad. They're gonna say, I know there's a lot of work involved with dieting down over the next 12 weeks or whatever, or trying to raise my testosterone, or trying to build an online business this year. I know there's going to be a ton of work involved, but I'm a Badass Brad and I don't give a shit about the work because I'm going to embrace it. Like, I love work. Give me more work. I love work. So that's what a Badass Brad's going to do, and they're going to be different. They're not going to be like online business example. You see people are like, oh, it's jobs are so hard to come by these days. The economy collapsed and it's so bad. But literally, that's just the worldview they see. Like, I got laid off from my job 5 years ago, and now I'm still sitting in my parents' basement. Or I came out of college and I could never get a job in the first place. I'm still in my parents' basement. Or I'm in college and I'm afraid. That's one worldview. But then at the same time, there are tons of people out there that are literally just like, hey, I love teaching people about fitness. I love teaching people about cooking. I love teaching people about whatever, shooting guns. And they can start a blog or a YouTube channel or a podcast. It's literally never been easier. You can start for $100. You can build a business in a year. Totally. There's I was telling you guys about my top affiliate for my testosterone program. He wrote an article every day for 200 days.
Shut.
This guy's a winner. He wrote an article every day for 200 days, had a blog that started at 0 visitors last year. He's only had this blog for 1 year. And now he's making $7,500 a month.
That's awesome. That's
pretty sick.
What a badass.
Without his own product. He's selling my product. He's just an affiliate. He's a Badass Brad.
Yeah.
Complete winner. So that's like what you got to do, though. You got to know, 200 articles in 200 days of high quality, and they're really good articles. His blog is great. It's anabolicmen.com. You can go check it out. Anabolicmen.com is a freaking good blog. He didn't even like just have these crappy articles. He literally took hours every day and did it. But now he's got a full-time business. He was a car mechanic before that. He quit his job as a car mechanic. He hated being a car mechanic.
Good man.
You know, that's a winner right there. That's a badass
Yeah,
Brad.
that's awesome, dude.
And another thing.
That's
like,
awesome.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish that thought before I
Well,
go
just
off.
another thing I was thinking about, because I've been emailing my email list about this. I was thinking about it over Christmas. You know, how am I going to make this year better than last year? I had a good year last year, but how am I going to make it better? And I was thinking about how insurmountable, especially at this time of year, everyone's thinking about, you know, New Year's resolutions and that sort of thing. But a year kind of seems insurmountable, especially if you have a big goal. A year's a long time. It's you can do so much in a year. Um, so I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, you know, what's another time frame that's better to frame things at? And this was like purely for my own benefit. And I only just started emailing my list about the idea of what I'm about to tell you, but then I thought down to like 6 months. It still seems like it's a long way away. It's long enough to like put it off until you feel the heat, and then you can still convince yourself otherwise. 90 days just seems a bit overdone, honestly. It's like P90X. You got all these 90-day things. You know, everything's 90 days because it's an even number of months, right? 3 months. So I just thought like 100 days. 100 days, nice big old fat number. It's something that you feel accomplished with if you do something for 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought,
like 100 days more than 90 days.
yeah, 100 days is way more substantial, you know?
That's perfect.
So, yeah, so I was on the plane back to Los Angeles from DC, and I was like, you know, I hate that plane ride. And so all I do is I just like think in my head. I try to just escape in my thoughts. So all I was thinking about was like, okay, this 100-day thing, you know, I'm just going to call this is going to be my personal 100 days of hustle. I'm going to start it mid-January. I'm going to end it mid-April. It's going to be 100 days where I have a plan. It's very simple, and every day I just execute on that plan. And it's the simplicity is the key to it too. And I think a lot of people can resonate with this because I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll just share it with my email list, my newsletter people, and their response has been crazy good. Everyone's like, hell yeah, because I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm not trying to do anything with it. I'm just like, literally, this is what I'm doing. I think you guys can benefit from it. And I think everyone at this time of year is feeling that desire to be better this year. But the year is like an insurmountable amount of time. 100 days is a nice number. That's something you can do. That's something where you can convince yourself every day when you wake up that you're going to actually keep on doing this. And you even give yourself the opportunity, like after 100 days, you know, maybe I'll just take a month off of whatever this thing I'm doing. But I did it for 100 days. And you can do multiple 100-day stints over the course of a year. So you can have these intense periods of focus during the year. Like beginning of the year, 100 days. Maybe you take the summer where you're just more relaxed about stuff. And then the back half of the year, you do another 100 days where you have these specific goals. So that 100 days of hustle, that's what I think. Like, you know, if you wanna go from being you know, potentially a victim Vinny or in the non-winner category to being the badass Brad, then that could be something that could change your life. You know, 100 days of focus. If you pick even just one goal or two, I recommend two to three goals because, like, especially if one of your goals is a fitness goal. I know we've talked about that on the podcast before of like not only focusing on fitness.
Yeah, then it feels a lot harder when you just focus on fitness.
Because then what are you thinking about all the time? You're thinking about how much you ate and how much you want to eat more, or like you know, if you worked out enough, or then you beat yourself up and you feel guilt and shame for missing a workout or whatever. But if you have multiple goals, then it's easy. Then even what you said, Tom, where you're like, you know, I'm going to expect results in 30 days, but I'm not going to expect results right now. Like every day when I look in the mirror. When I wake up. So that helps you to just kind of forget about it and dissociate from that goal, but be like, okay, every day I'm eating, you know, doing an IF style thing where I have two meals. Like I do a lunch and a dinner, in my morning I do this. I'm trying to accomplish this goal, so I'm going to focus my morning on this. In my afternoon I do this, or my evening I do this, or whatever. I got the meals there. I got the training. Boom. That's my day for the next 100 days.
Yeah, and 2 meals is not hard. Like when you fast and stuff, it's actually quite easy. I was
Yeah,
watching.
super easy.
Yeah, it's super easy. I was watching Survivor for fun. I was like, I never really watched the show. I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about.
Doesn't Rusty love Survivor?
I think Rusty loves Survivor.
Yeah.
That was actually, you talked about how like people are like so worried about starvation mode. It's like, look at these guys on Survivor. They end up like eating very little and they get pretty lean. And I couldn't believe it. They were like eating like a cup of rice a day. That's it. Like
Dude.
literally, they'd eat one meal, some rice, and then if they're lucky, they'd catch a fish. And if they're lucky, like maybe once a week, they'd win a challenge and get like a reward meal. But that's no food.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
no
the body can last a long time on very little food though, as long as you have water.
Right. Well, you see them throughout the competition. Like literally, it's only like 39 days, and like some of the guys that come in pretty big, and like literally they all have like 6-packs at the end. Like I was surprised. I was like, I don't know. They're probably like there's probably like literally some like little resort just outside the cameras come in there, you know.
Well, I think there is for the camera crew and stuff.
For the camera crew, yeah. For the camera crew.
But they probably, yeah, I think they have to like actually not eat very much because it makes it look more realistic to everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, man. I would die. Like I would be like, no, thank you. No, not
Yeah.
$1 million.
I'll be like, no, I'm Greg. I need my rusty potatoes and.
I need my potatoes. Can we get a bag of potatoes out of the rice thing?
Man.
Yeah, give me a bag of potatoes. I'll trade.
I'll just have Chris drop ship like steaks and Chipotle.
Yeah.
Here's my Chipotle.
And Survivor has officially become the Hunger Games.
Tom and I can fly a chopper over top. We'll just drop food into the water or we'll like push an inflatable raft out and like just drive it up in the middle of the night. You can go for a midnight swim or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like Greg, how'd you gain weight on Survivor?
This is, you know, it's like
chunky.
starvation mode, dude. I was only getting in a couple hundred calories. My body started storing everything.
All I'm eating is salad.
Dude, too good. Too good.
Oh.
So you know what though? But so here's the deal though. I think that so I wrote down just like a couple of notes that I was thinking of like when we were brainstorming this beforehand, and I think it comes down to preparation and having like some kind of system of accountability. Because with food, for example, eating like there's some diets out there that have you eating like every 2 hours, and you're eating 300-calorie meals, which sucks, you know. So there's the whole argument for how you want to structure your nutrition plan, but regardless, it comes down to preparation, I think. And there's ways that you can cook. If you don't have a lot of time to cook, then you can cook in ways that you cook bulk amounts of food and then you portion it out, so that even though you might not have a lot of time to cook, you could have like 1 or 2 designated days during the week that you can cook, and then you can portion everything out so you still hit your macros, and that way, you know, you don't have to actually commit to cooking for 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And same thing with
that's a great
so,
and you don't like
crock pots and rice cookers.
yeah, dude, the crock pots, that's
easy.
like the best thing. Greg, you just cooked like crock pot chicken and salsa, right?
Yeah, man, but it was too tasty. Like I ate it and I was like, I just want more, you know? When I just fry some chicken on the pan, I'm like, oh, I'm full. But like this crock pot, I was like, oh, this is so good. I want more. I ended up cooking for 2 days. I ate both of them.
That's the plight of being Greg. But normal people though wouldn't do that. So
how many pounds of chicken did you eat?
But I ate like 2 pounds.
Oh, okay.
There's only 2 pounds.
Oh, okay, just 2 pounds.
But yeah, it's actually, like as you were saying, Tom, like, you know, sometimes actually if I'm not able to cook, or I'm just like, oh, I don't want to cook. And you know, what I did was sometimes when I was like on like an airport or whatever, I just didn't like have any, or I just didn't have any time to cook or get a meal. I'd like go to like I'd get like literally some beef jerky and some pop chips. And sure, it's not the healthiest thing to eat every day, but I hit my protein numbers, I hit my carbs and fats, and I'd be pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I love pop chips, man.
Pop chips are awesome.
Yeah,
I've never had those before. I see them, but
they're like popped rice or something.
They're filling too. Yeah, they're really filling.
They have
flavors. I have to check this out.
They have all sorts of flavors. They have like barbecue and salt and vinegar and.
If we keep talking about pop chips, we're gonna have to like get some royalty deal, like 5% off every.
Come on, pop chips. Come on, Ashton. I think Ashton Kutcher invested in pop chips. I think he's one of the.
Huh.
He's invested in everything that's exploded.
Yeah, because he's smart, because he's using his
Invested in
influence.
Airbnb. Yeah, he's actually has one of the highest IQs in Hollywood, which is like very paradoxical to what people think.
Well, to
Wow.
what his main character was on that '70s show, you know.
Yeah, like the arrogant character. He's done very well for himself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Anyway,
good stuff. When I think the other, so there's the preparation, but I think there's the concept around having some form of accountability. Some people need a coach to do it. I'll be candid with you guys. I'm doing the 200K bodybuilding challenge right now, and I'm using Kinobody, the shredding program, to do it.
nice.
Wait,
So
you win 200K if you win that thing?
well, you get a guy wins 80K, a girl wins 80K, and then there's a
Nice.
people's choice that wins 40K.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
So, but I'm thinking it's like I don't know if I'm gonna win or not. Like I'm gonna try as hard as I can to win it, but I don't know if I'm going to. That said, dude, if $80,000 online isn't enough for me to like just not have a beer at night, then you gotta do what you can. But so I'm thinking through this.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, right, dude. So I want to get fit anyway. We're like more fit than I am right now. So yeah, I may as well try
Yeah.
to win $80,000 while I do it. So, but I'm
Or
thinking
the 40K, that's not too bad either.
No.
not shabby
Just
at
like you
all.
get in great shape and you get a $40,000 check. Sounds pretty good.
Right, for what 3 months of bussing ass?
Yeah.
That's a fair deal to me. But so I'm thinking through it, and I'm planning out all this stuff, and like how I'm gonna win this $80,000. And so what it came down to for me was, so I'm working out 3 days a week, strength training, then I'm gonna do cardio 2 or 3 days a week. So I looked at my calendar, I blocked off the dates that I knew that I had something going on, and I literally like filled in a 12-week calendar of like when I'm gonna do stuff, and I scheduled out the time in advance. So I know when I'm going to work out. There's some weeks that I can't do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to have to switch that to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It's just what's going to happen. But so I know now that I have my calendar, so I know when I'm supposed to be doing stuff, and there's like accountability to that. And I think a lot of people start a program and they're just like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then they end up missing a day due to unforeseen circumstances, and it's like on a Monday, and they're like, oh well, whatever, my workout's blown for this week, I can't do it, and they're like,
For this
you
month.
know, yeah, or
Or the month.
yeah, or if they go out to dinner with their family on like Tuesday night, and they blow up, and they feel like their week is shot, so they're like, oh, to hell with it, and it's just like binge fest, and then they start up again next Monday, when it's like it doesn't have to be that way. So I think having some kind of system of like checks and balances and accountability, and for me that comes in the form of preparation and like planning ahead of time. So
Yeah, that's a great point. I think this is kind of applies to Chris's 100-day challenge. Is like as long as the 100 days just kick ass. It's like there's like you have your goals there. You have like what you're gonna do each day. I mean you gotta have something in place, because if you just tell yourself something very arbitrary like 100 days I'm just gonna work really hard on my business,
hmm
it's so easy just to kind of let go. But if you're like, okay, this is exactly what I have to do each day. I have to
Yeah.
dedicate an hour to writing, an hour to this. Then it's concrete, and you'll probably do it. What were you gonna say,
I'll
Chris?
show you. I got my my little notebook page right here. It's probably not. It doesn't really fit in this window.
I can get like I can't read it, but I
People
can.
on YouTube can probably see it, but all it is it's like really simple in that regard. What you guys are saying is basically like morning working on business maintenance. So like working
Emails.
in the business, emails, writing new blog posts, new podcasts, whatever.
Mhm.
So just wake up, because I figured, I usually like drink a whole pot of coffee usually. So I've been taking my time with this coffee. Sometimes
as you
it's,
should.
yeah, sometimes I'm like sitting there for an hour drinking my coffee, looking out my awesome view in my window, and it's just wasted time. So I was thinking like, okay, instead of doing that, I'm gonna drink my coffee while I'm writing a blog post or while I'm doing an email or whatever. So that's that, and then go do some kind of exercise, or whether it's lifting or going to the pool. I like to swim laps at the pool, just do some sprints, eat some lunch, and then in the afternoon is the business growth period of time where it's more free form, but it still has a goal of like growing the business.
What
So
kind of activities would that be?
that'd be like working on a new a new sales page copy, or some kind of a new funnel.
Yeah.
That's that sort of thing, or like new ideas for growing it. In terms of what I'm trying to do this year with Test Shock, what that applies for me over this 100 days is I'm working on getting my first supplement out to market. So it's like a vitamin mineral complex that help guys bring their key essential vitamins and minerals that they need for optimal testosterone functioning up to the normal levels and keep them there, because a lot of people are actually just really deficient in these things, which is like it's like basically B vitamin complex, magnesium, zinc, what shit, I blanked on the last thing. Oh yeah, vitamin D, and then phosphatidylserine, which is a cortisol blocker. But it's just like a badass supplement. But what I'm doing in the afternoon is working on, I got to get on the phone with the supplement supplier and make sure everything's working fine, and get the packaging and this drop shipping and everything. It's like that kind of work, growth work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Like you just got like that mapped out exactly what you're gonna do, and it's fun when you have like kind of targets, maybe for like the halfway point or the 100-day.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, like
or quarterly even quarterly targets, because it's 100.
Yeah, it's motivating. It's really motivating, and to kind of have those goals to shoot for, and then like everything you're gonna do each day. Yeah, I like that. Whenever I implement something like that, I get a lot more done, and then yeah, pretty much. And then like each day, like I try and write down exactly what I want to get done the next day. And interestingly enough, when I write stuff down, I do it. When I don't, I'm like, oh, I should probably be doing that tomorrow. There's a bigger chance I'm not going to do it. Like literally writing stuff down, whether it's a goal, whether it's what you want to do that day, anything. Like literally, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, just go to Rite Aid and get a notebook.
Notebook.
Yeah. That's all I do. I just get these like big 5-subject notebooks, and every day you just like write down stuff, write down ideas you have. Same with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man.
Sure, I was just gonna say like someone like me, for example, I'm very like for me, it makes such a big difference to be around people that are like kind of goal-driven and kicking ass. Whereas if I'm around people that are kind of like just lazy and just kind of watching reality TV all day, like I don't like to be around that, because it seeps into me on an unconscious level.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I've really started to see that over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true, and that's something most people don't think about. Because they're just they're around who they're around,
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're around like people that like kind of aren't really they're not like the kind of people that like are supporting your goals, or kind of people that literally are on your path or just kicking butt in general, then you gotta like be very like, you gotta really write down your goals. You gotta really write down what you gotta do each day. And you gotta like really put your foot down to the pedal, because those kind of people can like rub off on you. It's like, imagine you're university and you're living in a house with some different people at school. And every day, like after school, whatever, everyone's just like there, like working on assignments, studying. You're gonna feel really bad about yourself if you're just watching reality TV or goofing off on your computer. Like you will physiologically feel bad, uncomfortable, because you're like, I am not like, these people are like doing doing all this good stuff, and I'm doing nothing. It's like they've even done studies where if they go to people's houses and like, or if they like send letters to people's houses and be like, hey, so like, everyone in your neighborhood has like done a really good job at cutting back 30% on their electricity bill, then people will like feel bad, like, oh my god, I need to cut back on my electricity. It's like, whatever people's doing, it kind of rubs off on you. Yep. But if they were sending like a letter and saying that like literally we're overusing, like everyone here is overusing too much electricity and power, we need to really cut back, it won't work. It's like people want to like, it's like the kind of the herd approach. They want to follow what the herd is doing. And so then contrarily, if you're living in a house with people for school and they're all just like playing video games and like joking around, drinking and watching reality TV and not doing any work, even if you have a ton of work to do, you probably won't feel like you need to do it, because you're just looking into what people around you are doing. So
true, super true.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is if you're around people that aren't really on that right frequency, just really impose your values onto them in a sickening way. Just make them exhausted about you. Yo, stop watching reality TV. Do something. Right. Don't work out. Just
or just leave. Like
just
go find another group of
a
friends.
coffee shop, go to a
Yeah.
library, go
Yeah.
somewhere where you can really work.
Yeah, even online though, it's easy to like. For example, you guys like we can get on a call at any time and just talk about all sorts of cool stuff. So
Mhm.
if anyone listening to this doesn't really have that luxury of like being able to find different friends or sell their family and buy a new one, then then you can
I mean, who
find
does
other
have that luxury? You know?
you can find other people online too, and like in forums and just
Yeah.
pick whatever your interest is that you really want to go after and
And even listening to stuff like podcasts will help big time. If you listen to a fitness podcast, a business podcast, entrepreneur podcast, anything like that, just listening to that each day is like kind of rubbing off on you. It's
Mhm.
getting you into that mode.
Yep. Yeah, 'cause it probably has a similar effect because like people feel like for the hour that day they can come and hang out with us, you know, and then come and
Yeah.
hang out with their favorite person who talks about whatever.
Mhm.
Right. Cool, man.
Absolutely.
Do you guys want to like kind of wrap it up here?
Yeah. Well, actually, let me just tell everyone about like kind of what's going on with Test Shock before we sign off here.
Yeah.
Yeah, as most people who are listening to this know, if you know me, you know that I have a book, Testosterone IO, and it basically is a step-by-step program that teaches guys how to naturally optimize their testosterone with training and nutrition. And you know, I did it all on my. I basically figured it out on my own. Just quick backstory is like I almost had zero testosterone at one point, and within 18 months, I used this system and got it up to around 1,200 nanograms per deciliter. So
Which is very, very high.
yeah, it's like really high. It's up the top end
Mhm.
or above the medical reference range. So I wrote that book, you know, a couple years ago now, and it's been selling really well. But there was essentially, you know, some people advised me there is a company in the fitness website that has a trademark that they own the word testosterone.
Hmm.
So
What?
yeah, so another friend who has actually he has been on this show in the past. He got his site taken away from this other site in a court
Ooh.
seizure because he infringed on one of their trademarks. So
Hmm.
they're malicious. They're not really friendly dudes.
That sucks, man.
So he advised me to you know potentially rebrand the book itself and the company if I want it to grow. And
Mhm.
so I was like, okay, you know, I'll rebrand it. So I rebranded it as Test Shock, which was actually great, and that's testshock.com. It's great because it gave me an opportunity to like go back, redesign, revisit the content, make the book look really good because I've learned a lot about design and just you know solid business stuff in the last couple of years since I wrote that.
Well,
So I
and
got,
it's, I mean, you've taken all the feedback that you've gotten, you know, it's all the feedback from everybody that, you know, that have gone through the program have helped you revise the content too, haven't
exactly because yeah, a couple thousand people have gone through the whole thing,
they? Mhm.
and that just all those emails, all that feedback just played into it. It was a good opportunity because without you know, without the potential of actually losing the business because some idiot wants to sue me for it. Um, it gave me the opportunity to like just revamp everything. It's like starting new, starting fresh again. So
Mhm.
got to redo everything, made a whole new website. I've got a new blog up at testshock.com/blog. Um, over this next 100 days especially, I'm going to be posting every day on that blog
Mhm.
and just really building it. But that's really what's going on. Testshock.com. It's got a new fat loss program over there as well, the aggressive shred program, which is currently at time of recording only available if you buy the deluxe package, and it's got a discount. But um, it may be if you listen to this in the future available on another link on the blog or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
Well, and explain, so if anybody's coming from a Kinobody program and they get Test Shock, which we'll set up a link for, we'll have it, you know, if you're on the blog right now, you can go to, I guess it'd be kinobody.com/test shock, just so we can know who actually buys it to get them the bonus. But yeah, if you have a Kinobody program and you get Test Shock, you created a companion guide, right, for
Yeah.
it connected to?
Yep. I made it's about a 4-page companion guide for people who are undergoing on a Kinobody program right now, who buy the Test Shock program and want to increase their testosterone while they're on the Kinobody program. So you can read through the whole Test Shock program itself. It's actually 264 pages. So it's it's pretty conclusive.
Yeah.
Very comprehensive.
Dude, it's like a textbook.
It's a beast book, but I also made this companion bonus guide for people who get it through kinobody.com/testshock. Tom and Greg can get the guide over to you. It's 4 pages, and it's basically got 5 tips that if you're on a diet, especially if you're in a calorie deficit, if you're cutting, if you say you're on warrior shredding program, but these also would apply if you're on like Greek God or superhero bulking, because obviously testosterone plays roles in both keeping you lean and helping you gain muscle. So it's just a good thing for dudes to optimize. But I have 5 tips in there that they're completely non-conventional too. They're just things that most people just don't think about. Like I'll give away one of them. Not touching sales receipts. Because most sales receipts are the paper that's printed on is actually full of BPA.
Really?
Yeah. And so I always try. I hate sales receipts, and actually, like for the last couple of years, I've just been actively avoiding sales receipts because it just rubs off on your fingers. And your fingers are actually also just there's a lot of sensors and neurological endings in your fingers, and it's easy to absorb things into your hands. Into your skin, and just in skin in general, but BPA acts as a hormone, and it actually counteracts testosterone production in terms of like downstream, and it's just not a good thing to have seeping into your body, and most people get it in a lot of different places, anyways, because it's like on the coatings of sports equipment and bottles like water bottles and soda bottles. Food containers.
It's in like toothbrushes too.
Yeah, it's in everything. It's in water pipes. They even put it in some water pipes in like older buildings and people's homes and stuff. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so just avoiding BPA whenever you can. If you can, just not worrying too much about it, so like getting kind of hypochondriac about it, but to the point where if you are drinking out of a plastic bottle, make sure that bottle is BPA free. If you have the option of having the cashier put your sales receipt in the bag at the grocery store, instead of grabbing it and like crumpling it up into your hand, which actually you're just rubbing BPA all over yourself, do that sort of thing. So that's one of the tips. There are 4 other tips in that companion guide.
So what would I do if I just took sales receipts and just rubbed them all over my body?
Just like just bathed in them.
Just bathed in them.
It'd be kind of nasty.
I'm just kidding.
I feel bad for the people at the work at places, like as a cashier,
Yeah.
Especially if you're listening to this and you're a cashier. Maybe wear some gloves or something. Because you have to touch the sales receipts, but definitely wash your hands, that's for sure, as often as possible. I've noticed actually the other day, I bought something at Home Goods because I've been decking out my apartment lately. Home Goods is like the most badass store ever for apartment stuff.
I love Home Goods. Home Goods and World Market, actually.
Yeah, World Market too.
Yeah.
But Home Goods uses, or it was either Home Goods or it was World Market, but they use BPA-free receipts. I saw it on the receipt. I was just looking, the receipt was like sitting on my dresser, and I saw it said BPA-free receipts. I was like, sweet. People are catching on, so it's good.
It's awesome.
I would have never expected on receipts. So, but you don't really even need to use receipts. I mean, it's all like on your online banking statement. So you don't even have, like, they usually ask you, do you want your receipt? And I'm just like, oh, okay. And I would never look at it again. Next time I'll just be like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can find, like, if you're trying to write off stuff for your taxes or whatever, you can still get that stuff on your banking statement, like you said.
It's easier. Like, who has a massive bag of receipts they want to go through? Like,
no. Yeah, receipts just turn into that mush in your pocket after you do the wash. That's all it is.
Why do we still have, I mean, like, receipts are good if you just want to make sure they didn't overcharge you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like...
Greg's at Chipotle, he's like, you charged me for 5 chickens. I only got 4.
Yeah.
Dude, that's typical though, actually. See,
Some
that's something you have to check, but
yeah,
normally.
yeah, you gotta check that. Just right, just gotta watch out.
So, but anyway, dude, cool
Get
stuff. So you got
overcharged or
and
get more
there's
estrogen? What do you want? Overcharge or estrogen? I'm just kidding.
well, all right, man. Give me the estrogen. So that's cool. But so you get that in three more. See, like even that though, it's like such like a little thing that honestly most people probably just don't know about.
But Chris, you need to like get your testosterone down. You should be really focusing on the receipts, man. 1,200. That's abnormal. That's huge.
Yeah, I just rub it on my lymph nodes every night before I go to bed.
Dude, I can't wait to see that transformation shot.
Oh gosh.
It'd be so bad. But good deal though. That's awesome, man. So that's it. So we'll set up a link at kinobody.com/testshock.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll link it out below this on the post. And if they're coming from the podcast, they just go to kinobody.com/testshock and they can see everything there.
But bam.
But
All
bam.
right. Well then, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just saying
Okay.
bam like you were.
Nice. All right. Well then, we'll wrap up right here. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you're excited that Chris came back on. You know, he'll be back on again for sure. So stay tuned to the next episode, and take care. Bye.